Mukiranga bingi mwiroreri wa Mwendani TV na tukugwata ugeni methari yetu ya Movoro tugukuthomera Movoro na tukuganditi mathaa 10 rietra yakwa ni WAWIRA wa NTHIGA na ke mutauria tunanjira ciiko ni Sofia Jaru. Muteteri wa ivoto cia omundu wa kurire Rose Njeri no kinyetwe igoti rya milimani ukone musire munene wa Nairobi akitangwa na ithetiria ya kurugura rurenda rwa kwendekithia andu makorwo makirana na watho wa kwigina wa mwaka wa 2025 mama matikenda na mbere ni ati Njeri erigete gwikongora muthenya wa Jumaa na kuthingirirwa gituo kia vori ya Pangani na kuria muthiari aracokire atoro gituo kingi mama makigenda na mbere ni ati mawakiri matongorete ni warinja nzi munene wa gukufururi David Maraga mutongore wa kiama kia Wiper Kalonzo Musyoka mutongore wa kiama kia DAP Kenya Eugene Wamalwa pamwe na mawakiri mengi mapatata gukora magikinya na kuthikiriria ciro uyu uria maugite kana uria maugite nditangwiria Njeri akurubanitwe na citi na musingi kwa na mundu na mianjo kwa kuruta mawoni matiganite.
This matter of Rose Njeri, I started by saying that it is not a matter just for this country but international. All the international human rights organizations are watching. It has been argued by my learned colleagues here, including CJ Emeritus. And what would you say about JBC, about jurisdiction, when you have the immediate former Chief Justice sitting there and putting this one? So, Your Honor, simple article, the charge is brought under Section 16 for computer misuse and cyber crime. When Rose was invited to interfere for this public participation, now they're changing the whole thing, interference, to mean she's committing a cyber crime. If our crime is sensitizing our fellow Kenyans to say yes or no to the proposed finance bill, what crime is that? Therefore, we invite you, Your Honor, to just throw this matter out.
Kwingina kwenye atema wakiri nditango mareva kwa kukonekuta wira wonde konanye na sieko sia ako watu kana na sieko sia sirole komerete governor wa county ya Trans Nzoia George Natembea egio ngomanya wasingi bilioni mwetro inyani akiere mbere ya igoti rya milimani egio ngomanya gukona mwana wa Nairobi wakiri wa thirikari na rietwa Victor Waiting adikiritia kwa kibewa stumeigire makiria sia kongania au thuthuria kiuga mutretie sendo cia bata visire ya governor yu siro yoka watu aringi takimuni gatatu mweri wa gatandatu mwaka wa 2025.
They have not been able to give disclosure on the basis of their case, as they are still in the process of gathering documents from the subject's county and sub-county offices. In the same vein, the prosecution also states that with the information they had gathered, through the investigators, the threshold for the preferring of charges was met. Further, that the decision to charge was well within the ODPP's policy on the same. The application is opposed by counsel for the defendants. They state that the delay caused in the disclosure taken in light of the clamor around the first accused's arrest is a travesty of justice. The defense also protests that the subsequent visits by the investigators to the first accused office and county offices have been done without disclosing to the counsel of such visits. They are apprehensive that the surreptitious visits may be used by the investigators to plant evidence against their clients. The court did give thorough directions on disclosure. It is clear that the prosecution has not been able to do so. Although they state that they were given an onerous task on the nature of the disclosure, it is imperative for all parties to ensure that they comply with the court orders as strictly as possible. The rights of the accused and the interest of justice demand it from all the parties. That being said, and even taking into account the decision of the Supreme Court in Hussein Khalid and 2 others versus the AG on the matter of disclosure being continuous, and having reached the decision to charge, it would follow that the prosecution had reviewed a number of documents and witness statements already in their possession. Those documents and statements ought to have been disclosed by now.
wariri ndereti egiye kuthengutio kwa mumera wa muguka erigiritwe gukurekererirwa bunge ria kiburi ndereti iria rigite kwendekithwo ni mubunge wa gicigo kia Kilifi North Owen Bayan riu mwingi wa kuma gicigo ria bunge kia Runyenje na gwatanĩka na Makawanjara ni mauritie bunge gukorwo makimegwethia kuona gukathiu mangikorwa ugwatire munene
ya muguka kule huko Mombasa. Mimi nilikuwa mmoja wa wale walienda kuona rais. Ya? Nilikuwa mmoja wa wale walitengeneza mikutano na viongozi, hata na waziri. Hata tukaandamana na tukafuatana mpaka kule Machakos. Kusema ni anampongezi ya serikali kwa lilia ubora liko na Mungu ni mwema, tukapata mwanya. Kwa hivyo hata hii vita iko mbele yetu. Tutapigana kwa pamoja. Ni sawa sawa? Nini mtupatie maombi. Na msikubali wale ambao wanaleta siasa kwa hii mambo ya muguka. Ya? Nitondo liria tu ya batike. Tita aria gutonye siasa ndino biashara ya mugu. Ni sawa sawa? Tupigane tukiwa pamoja na mbele ya tongoria yetu wanaateti. Tita aria kuganga angoyo ni 1 term, huyo ni 2 term. Sio hatuna nafasi kama hiyo. Nafasi iliyopo ni ya viongozi wote waongee kwa sauti moja. Tupiganie mkulima wa muguka. Na niseme kinagaubaga hakuna tofauti ya mera na muguka. Hiyo ni kitu moja. Nitore tukorogo twina kaua getagwa Arabica, ukegetagwa Robusta. Aikatero hiro. Ni Arabica na Robusta. Tuivamwe nitore tukora twina purple tea na green tea.
ya kumkamari kia Nyangi na Dharin gicigo ria bunge kia mbere yeguru wana mumirite yumirite na gukomithia ndeto eno gukwa makiuga mumero uyu wa mukabrete wiki guni egwata makiria kuri mwingi wa gicigo kiu
dawa gitagwa Nyangi na Dharin ni kiama kiandikithitio kwa social services na turutaga wira wa mitugo na mikarire ya mbere. Umuthi ni turacemanitie tukiroria maundu mamwe makonie kimbere no maundu maria twarikiania na kwaria ni ati uboro wa munjumbe wingi wa kuria Kilifi no uraririe nae na nugite uboro ucio wa mira no gutwara mbungeri thwe turi athuri ni tureganite pio na uboro ucio gitumi ni ati mbere indiria miretari miuku twathoguraga embu na tukathiwa gikuku thogora no kabindari gaka gutiri mundu thoguraga wanandu aciruka maka kuthogura guku mbere tukaroria mithiire ya mbere na muhororo koni mbere riu ni mugaruruku makiria tutire cash crop ta kawa kana kindu kiria kingi koguo na kiria tutegemeaga muno nundu akuthomithia ciana cietu ni mira na koguo miregire twe kwendua
kwingina baniate mutongoria wa bururi ndagitari William Ruto ugite thirikari enwaye kuthii na mbere gutetheria Ruto aria mumite meciiri iri rutarevota niguo gutigirira ni mamukira kithomo na njira igwete wavura isi Ruto ugite thirikari enwaye kuthii na mbere na gucaria mbeu mbithi mieke ya mawira nja ya bururi wavamwe na kugacirithia mvunge itiganite cia bururi aritie mama india kuvesa na nyumba cia maabitha borithi cia CBK industrial area muciiri munene wa Nairobi.
Additional money in our education sector is something that I will continuously do. It is the reason why we are, by January next year, we will have hired 100,000 new teachers, because they are the people who train the workforce of the future. The people who are working in all these spaces would not be working in those spaces if they weren't, if it wasn't for our education system. Whether we are training them in our TVETs or our universities or in our Kenya Medical Training Centers and in all the other places, we wouldn't be having those people. It is the reason why we now have a student-centered higher education facility that makes sure that we treat every student as a student, and we make sure that students from poor families are supported adequately so that we leave no child behind. It is the reason why we have changed and made sure that any student from a poor family gets 90% scholarship to go to a TVET or a university, so that they don't drop out of school because of the inability of their parents to support them. It is the reason why we must continuously do affirmative action to carry everybody and leave no one behind. I know there are so many people asking.
Mutongoria wa kiama kia PAP Martha Karua ni ukomithetie giko gia gucokwa guku bururi-ini mutongoria wa Tanzania guku gitarithia uria manyamarirwe ni mabitha bondi mweria macokete guku bururi-ini akiaria na andiki a Movoro Martha Karua uguo ni ukomithetie mutongoria wa bururi ucio uria niwe Suluhu Samin ni undu wa kunyarira mutongoria wa mwena wa mũng'ethanĩro wa bururi ucio Tundu Lissu
leader in Tanzania. Instead, our passports were seized and we were denied entry and detained at the airport for long hours before deportation for daring to stand in solidarity with a fellow member of the East African Jumuiya. These events are not isolated. They mark a dangerous, coordinated assault on democracy by our leaders across East Africa. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, once hailed as a reformer, has now fully embraced a tyrannical playbook of her predecessor, with Tanzania's general elections beckoning in October this year. Her regime has accelerated its repression this year, banning Chadema, the main opposition party, detaining critics, weaponizing state security apparatus to harass, torture, and disappear citizens. In an audacious blow to multi-party democracy, Tanzania has disqualified the main opposition party, Chadema, as I have said, from participating in the elections. Its leader, Tundu Lissu, faces trumped-up treason charges for merely saying no reforms, no elections. That's the basis of the treason charge. He has been transferred between prisons, denied legal access, and barred from court at one stage, in flagrant violation of both Tanzanian law and international human rights law. The court later reversed itself, and on the 19th, there was an order to bring him to court. So we were all happy that we were going to finally see him in court when we were unceremoniously and arbitrarily arrested and detained and deported.
sionde na Maria matari na mawira matani to gukora makiani kwa thirikari rungu rwa mubango uramenyekana ta climax waka ino ni njira imwe ya thirikari kuthiria kana kuvurana na thina wa wagi wa mawira iri koretwe vo vakavinda karasa
ita njira ya kurwa na thina wa wagi wa mawira guku bururi President William Ruto riu ni uthondekete mieke makiria ya 100,000 ya mawira ma mbeu mbithi rungu rwa mubango uramenyekana ta Climate Works uria ni murandi wa ta uria waikwe wecekene ta kazi mtaani uyu ni DC wa Embu North Walter Ngaira.
Kuna mradi ambayo rais ametaja na hii mradi inajibu yule mwakilishi wa kijana ambaye alisema kwamba vijana wetu wanakosa kazi na wangependelea kwamba serikali ipanue nafasi za kazi. Katika ile speech ya rais kuna mradi ambao tunaita Climate Works. Hii ni mradi kama ule mnajua tulikuwa tunaita kazi kwa vijana. Ndio mradi ambao unaanza na nafikiri kuanzia kesho tutaweka mikakati kuona kwamba tumeanza ule mradi.
Wira wa mbeu mbithi ayo ugakoragwa kuvanda miti kutheria maria maturigiciritie na gutethereria mirandi ya waki wa mabarabara na wa muthenya makarivagwa ciringi 500 iria thirikari ikarivaga na njira ya thimu.
Kazi kubwa ambayo huu mradi unataka kufanya ni kuangalia kwamba hizi barabara zetu zinapitika. Kwa hivyo tutaweza kulink vijana na wale tunaita the lead agencies ambayo ni watu ambao wanasimamia barabara zetu kama Kera na Kura na Kenha.
Iguru ria uguo DC Ngaira augite u.
Hivyo tunaweza kuengage, tuwafuze masuala ya kuunda vikundi na pia masuala ya kufanya kama table banking na mambo kama hiyo. Kwa hivyo hawatakuwa idle wakati wale wanafanya ile kazi, au wengine watakuwa wanafunzwa kitu moja ama mbili.
Mwendani TV kuma gicigo mbunge kia Manyatani mbitagwa muremi wa Gicobi.
Famiri wanda wasia kore via mabamwe na ngarama ndito ya muturire ni mwitwe nta kiumo kinene kia thina wa meciria ona kuringana na liganya kuma kamontire ya kirinyaga mara mugite cieko ino ikoretwe igotoma ndu kuri makiruta moyo
andũ mahũthagĩra magatuĩka atĩ rĩu nĩ too much kana abuse ma affect in the following ways. Ũkona mũndũ ũcio nĩ arĩinaina kĩroko, nĩ arĩinaina mũno nginya maugaga atĩ kũruta roko nĩ kũrwara, whereby nerves, the central nervous system kuma tombo-inĩ nginya mũgongo, ũkona nerves nĩ iretia na nĩ kĩhetagwo addiction. Rĩ mũndũ ciakĩinaina rĩ, handũ ha kũhũthĩra the natural way ũrĩa akirĩtio nĩ Ngai kana akĩheo ciĩga nĩ Ngai, ciĩga rĩu nĩ igetia kĩndũ gĩgwĩtwo drugs of choice.
Kĩrĩa kĩnene mũno na kĩega kwĩ ithuĩ, kwanza rĩu ta niĩ ndĩ mũtongoria wa community ĩno ya Ngaru Tasibo, nĩ tũtaũkĩtwe wega atĩ tũngĩbũrana na maũndũ ma indo ici ithũkagia meciria, atĩ indo ici nyagwo iranyuo mũno nĩ ciana citũ ici nini ta njovi, ona athuri akũrũ, ona atumia akũrũ, na bangi na indo cingĩ nyingĩ. Maũndũ macio tũngĩbũrana namo, ona maũndũ ma security kana ũgitĩri nĩ ũgũkorwo ũmwega mũno, tondũ maũndũ
Kurarire kamutiria guko nitukaiga ng'ombe kauntiri ya Tharaka Nithi nimiritie na kuria makora magiakirwa dispensary bakuthi na itura riri niguo kumavothia thavari ndasa iria makoragwo makithiriria maracaria motungata matiganite ma ũgima wa mwĩrĩ makiara na mwandiki wetu maugite ni meririritwe gukorwo magiakirwa dispensary undu gatavata gukorwo nginyagia muthenya umuthi uthikinyarira na riu undu uria mathirite gukorwo magicukuma thirikari ya kaunti ikorwe ikimakira dispensary emotion rivoti
bakamuteria wandiega
kiruto varuto ni mwandiki wetu Mugambi Dennis na twitikirie wona twarikania na rivoti no tukuru tukiri mavuru kwa manini turacokereria neta ya ntogorano
karibu kamuteria wandiega ng'ombe bakutheta ikwagio tungata bogimo wa mwiri karibu na mechi yao akiuga barachimika kuthingendo inda ya mwanga chibitare takayo kikenda kwa tungata bobo
kamuteria na dina ndokuno ntwana mtu ajua no akajoke na akedi kajoke alirwa isiara kana kamaroko na ele toka gule to mundia unde de na biumya biere nkedi ya kajoke nkenduka
kwariria mauntu masibitari na inkuona nkenoga muno tena ndaro moye ntiromba kurunga mai maguri manthukire ntiomba gukinya kayoke ntena mbia
kamutiria tutire cibitari na twira wa tugakirwa na waya kuthi kuraitha kithirikari ngabana wetu nwe ciamani wa mandagitari uku
bakiaria baugite ikware na wera ne bawakaitwo kiraika batungatira ndege untu ekigitaga na ukinyanira
agwe kagita ndirikanaga 19 ndaja tiga ntaije kuthoma kule atongorie bare amoga na ndege ciareo ciarutani babega watwika cibitari tugwakirwa ku akamuteria no mndetole bakundi batala gitate batala choka
twerwe tugakirwa cibitari imuthomi njokiaga nakoya gutwakira entiko miona kaurereko
arende bauritie thirikari ya kaunti gukurukira ngavana wa Tharaka Nithi muthomi njoki kubakira gituo kio gima wa mwiri nterino kienda bagwataga utungata karibu nabo
utio tukuga cibitari itukwenda cibitari turi Kayuki tio turenda kwira ngabana wetu begwe kiao tabora bakwegwa untu kora kwonge bagaka cibita ni batwenie mianka no tano mwanko yonge tugaceria antu bange ba utugune inge wewe bakora
Reporter Mwendani TV kuma kaunti ya Tharaka Nithi Mbita Dennis Mugambi.
Ino ni Mwendani TV. Kurumirira mitaratara na watho uri uvanditwo wo memerekia kuvitukira ruvuo rwa thirikari rwo memerekia Communications Authority of Kenya CAK. Station yo memerekia ya Mwendani TV ni irakumenyithia we mwiroreria wetu ati wina kivoto gya gukinyia mateta wanakana mawoni maku megi undu wa wonde thiini wo memerekia wetu niguo gutukinyiria mateta wanakana mawoni maku twariria kuvitukira namba cietu nicio 0738 817 050 wanakana 0799-331-468 nuo tukinyira kuvitukira email tvmwendani@gmail.com. Ino ni Mwendani TV.
Ngedisia kwa mwiroreri wa Mwendani TV ngakuthonke medari yetu ya ndogora na kumenyethi maria matukinyirite ni mbeto kwa masaria wa Kagendo na tukiambiriria ni ati kontena ithatu cia makandamia ni irigiriritwe gicikorori kia meri kia Mombasa badani gya cia ciringi milioni 8 na mama magiuka mithenya minini vuva wa thirikari kurigiriria ngandamia ino gukorwa ikendwa ngandamia ino iraviritwo bururire wa Mozambique na China na ino ni miario ya minister wa Ngirigasa ni Kimutai Kagwe mbere ya mbunge ya kibururi agitetera sekta ya gandamia.
Continued exports of in-shell macadamia benefits only falling buyers who use it as a raw material in their manufacturing, which eventually competes with Kenya, particularly for the US and other markets. This results to loss of jobs in Kenya, in Kenya's manufacturing sector, and reduces export earnings by exporting processed macadamia nuts than exporting in-shell, raw and processed macadamia.
Na umuthi kuri muthenya wa thoko ya Karaba kuria wandire ya gĩcigo mbunge kia Mbere Sauda mwandiki wetu Mwenosi Mugambi wa Njaro no serete Mwenosi no gutuvadiriria thogora wa irio nyumu toria aratariria.
Na tukiambiriria ni ati mukebe omwe wa mbembe thoko ino ya Karabora uma ciringi 90, mboco muthemba wa muviki ni 280, mukebe wa mboco muthemba wa gatune thoko ino ya Karaba ni 200, mutukanio wa mboco anaguo ni 200, mboco muthemba wa ruskoko ni 280, mboco ya yeru ni 260, mithemba yonthe ya ntoroko thoko ino ikiuma ciringi 200, mukebe wa njavio rauma ciringi 200, ndengu muthemba wa makweni ni ciringi 240, na eri anaironi ikiuma ciringi 220, mukebe omwe wa mwere thoko ino ya Karaba ukiwona na ciringi 160, muvi uria mutune ni ciringi 120, wana uria muceru anaguo rauma ciringi 120, njugu irauma ciringi 200, mukebe wa mukombi ukiuma ciringi 140, naguo mukebe omwe wa mugimbi ukiuma ciringi 160. Methari ya ntogorano ni thoko ria kwendi irio nyumu ya Karaba wandire amwe ya gĩcigo mbunge kia Mbere.
Vando riva metha ya ntogorano ya Mwendani TV ni mbito kwa masalia wa Kagendo.
Tariki 3 mweri wa gatandatu wa mwaka ni muthenya mwamure ni muungano wa kimavururi wa UN wa gukungwira utwarithia wa mĩithikiri. Riboti na njira ndikiru tabarite na mwandiki wetu Muthoni wa Nyaga.
Muthenya wa tariki 3 mweri wa gatandatu wa mwaka ni muthenya mwamure ni urumwe wa muungano wa kimavururi UN wa kumenyithia mwingi uvoro wigi utwarithia wa mĩithikiri no kamenyekana muno ta World Bicycle Day. Utwarithia wa mĩithikiri ni mwe ya maundu maria matethagiriria vanene vai ugima mwega wa mwiri, kona riria mundu aratwarithia mũithikiri akoragwo agika mazoezi. Kuna ri uguo mwito ni urutitwe kwi aria matwaragithia mĩithikiri njirari kwimenyerera na kurumirira mawatho ma utwarithia wa mĩithikiri njirari niguo kurigiriria mitino na iria nginya ingicungiriria ikuo. Na kuringana na muungano wa ugima wa mwiri nthi ng'ima WHO kwina bata wa mavururi kugacirithia njira niguo kugitira athiei, atwarithia mĩithikiri na atwarithia nduthi kumana na mitino icagiri na makiria miena iria itigitwe na vuva maundu ri megie uthiei wa na mbere. Mĩithikiri ni vuthikaga kengi mibango ri yokui ta kuvira ciana cukuru, kuumiria maketha, kuvira andu miena ngurani, na avo ni tethagiriria vanene kurigiriria mirimu ta ya ngoro, stroke, cancer, diabetes na nginya ikuo. Mĩithikiri ni vuthikaga no vuthu kuona ndirabatara umenyereri munene na ndicungagiriria uthukangia wa riera. Na umuthi ni njamanitie na mwatwarithia mĩithikiri na aria matariritie wega uria monete kumana na utwarithia wa mĩithikiri.
Once you get the confidence, it's all part of that, getting the confidence and the know-how and the technical skills of cycling, then you can move around, you can maneuver, and go through the roads.
The biggest barrier was the experience people have with motorists. Most cyclists feel like, the aggression towards cyclists makes them afraid to cycle. So even with poor infrastructure, people still want to ride bikes.
Wanaopeleka baskeli ndo wanalinda mazingira yetu zaidi kuliko wale wanaopeleka magari.
So understanding the economic value of walkways and cycling lanes is something that we need to start doing. Cars and rail transport are considered to be more bankable, more attractive to financial institutions, but walkways and bike lanes are not considered to be as important, and that's something that we need to change. If we teach young people that this simple machine does more for you, your body, your health, the community, the planet, than the big machine, the cars. So it starts from a young age.
Riboti ino ya ngungwiro cia kimavururi irabariritwe ni nie Muthoni wa Nyaga.
Na Movoro kumanja ya vururi tugwatanira na mutu wa Karuguti.
Bururi wa Iran kavinda gaka ne uritie ati bururi wa Amerika ukorwo kiuga ati ti ukorwa ukimekirira mikana makiambiriria miario iria magukorwo makiambiriria niketha kurungamia mutaratara wao wa kuthondeka matharaita make nuclear. Bururi wa Iran ni ukoretwo kiuga mavindari mengi ati ndukoretwo kithondeka nuclear niketha mathondeke matharaita, no ati bururi wa Amerika na Israeli ni makoretwo magikinyiriria bururi wa Iran ukoretwo kienda kuthondeka tharaita yake nuclear, na ni undu butangitikirika kuri o ni tondu bururi wa Iran ukoretwe vinde cionthe ugikinyiriria ati bururi wa Israel ndubatie gukorwa urivo na makathengutia mivango yonthe ya bururi wa Israel kugiriria Palestina gukorwa makigia na bururi. Ndeto cia miario ni ikoretwe cievo miaka mingi iria ciegie bururi wa Iran gukorwa magitigithia muvango wake nuclear, na varia riu minister wa maundu ma nanja wa bururi wa Iran Ismail Baghei akoretwe akiuga ni makwenda na mbere ya mambiriria miario gukindirwa ni bururi wa Amerika ati ti makorwa magekererwa mikana kuthie na mbere. Aikia kura bururi wa South Korea ni mathiete na mbere gwikia kura kavinda gako uguo ni kinetha kuthura mutongoria muceru vuva wa mutongoria wa bururi ucio Yoon Suk Yeol gukorwa thengutitwe kuma wa biciri ni bunge ni tondu wa gukorwa agikira watho wa kijeshi uria endaga gwikira ni ketha gwikarakara vinyari wa kibururi. Kura cia maoni iria ikoretwe igikwa ironania ni ta kwa Lee Jae-myung uria nike wa kiama kia mung'ethaniro kiria gitagwo Democratic Party of Korea agukorwa agiosa kyanyaga gukorwa agitongoria bururi uyu akitugura mundu gwitwa Kim Moon-soo uria ni wa kiama kiria kiathanaga bururi wa South Korea. Ithurano ino cia bururi wa South Korea igakorwa ikithuranwa kwambiriria thinacara kuthie nginyagia thaa 2 cia kivoi, na andu matanyithirite milioni 44.4 ni magukorwa magikia kura thiini wa bururi wa andu milioni 50 na andũ itiganĩte no ithiĩte na mbere na gũkũngũĩra Ngugi wa Thiong'o uria ũrakuire arĩ mĩaka yake ya 80 na nĩ ũndũ wa gũkorwo arutĩte wĩra mũnene wa kwandĩka mabuku marĩa makoretwe magĩcangira na gũteithĩrĩria andũ engĩ gũkorwo magĩciria na njĩra ngũrani. Gũkerwa na kwĩngĩ nĩ ũkoretwe mabuku make magĩtũma andũ meyũkĩria mũno na gũkorwo magĩciria ũhoro ngũrani ũhoro wĩgiĩ mwathanĩre wa mabũrũri mao. Engĩ arĩa makoretwe makĩaria nginyagia kuma mabũrũri ma Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi ona nginyagia Rwanda maugĩte Ngugi wa Thiong'o nĩ wakorirwo agĩtũma meciria mao mabiacoka na mambĩrĩria gwĩciria ũndũ ngũrani kũhĩtũkĩra mabuku make marĩa ambĩrĩirie kwandĩka kuma wa mĩaka ya 1962 ngĩgũkinyĩria mohoro ma kĩmabũrũri kuma metharia mwendani mbĩtagwa mũturi wa Karũte.
Metharia mĩthako tũgwatanĩre na Kota Mũrĩ.
Sia kutonya wanjari semigako na mwanaspoti kwa Mwendani TV ukambita Kocha Mũrĩ ana tukemire maturari timu ya Kathanjuri la kuruki maduria noti kwa noti na timu ya Kathongorie adino mechi ya Kĩoratani la kuruki kiwanjari ya Kathanjuri ino ni ndeto ibariritu ni mwandiki wetu Gitonga Wanyaga.
Mbĩtĩka cia mũbira ũyũ wa magũrũ ciĩkĩkĩrĩte kĩvarori gĩkĩ kĩa Kathongori wa ndire ĩno ya Keni kũrĩa timu ya Kathanjuri na timu ya Kathongori ithakĩte na ikauma ndiro. Ũguo nĩ kuga ciumĩte kĩbũgũ gwa kĩbũgũ kũrĩa Danny Beckham ũrĩa Keni coaches wa timu ya Kathongori atarĩrĩtie maturuma marĩa macemanagia namo rĩrĩa marathaka mũbira ũyũ wa magũrũ.
Tondũ andũ a district 3 nĩo merĩvagĩra marivari no andũ matarĩ na fair na nĩ marivari mathi awe cyo mũrigo munene muno kuko andũ amathiĩte kũruta kanja matuĩke matũmĩra fair macoka mathi makarive rivari nona iyo ni failure ni vati kwa vairo retu FKF yo ni vati kororia retu kavando ya mbia cia guthie aidha kuri rivari kuko kama marithire rivari kuna njira nguvi ile mbuto muno ni kiama kia magari rivari kuko andũ a wĩra wao ni kuthie kuthaka mũthira kutheri rivari makarivwa na kuria ni kiama iyo ni ngoro injira ile mpeka muno andũ mangi support nayo.
Mavindari wa Danny Beckham ni acokeretie ngatho karani wa mbunge ya kaunti ya Embu ni Kenjimu Kauma na njira nene nundu wa kumanyitirira na njira nene maunduri megie muvira uyu wa maguru guku akiuga mbeu mbithi ni irabatarania kunyitirirwa na njira nene.
Riu ndo ni masupporto na ngiri cio 15 na ni macokia ngatho muno. Kauma supported muvira kuma Iguru North arathakiria muvira wa Sunday akavesa na kiveo uguo akorwo agisupport muvira kuo ni wanange kathura MP no akasupport muvira tu.
Mwendani varori ni kivarori giki kia Kathongori wa ndire ya Keni South gicigori mbunge kia Runyenje kaunti ya Embu mbita gwa Gitonga Wanyaga.
Na tukiuma maturari tukirongoreria thini FKF Premier League bare timu ya Police FC bakuve gukorekia ni Kristo rene gusinda gikombe kia FKF Premier League bare rumagia point imwe bagakora magiukiria gikombe kia mbere kia ligi no ino bugo timu ya Gor Mahia gukora mukima draw ya mbwe mwe na timu ya FC Leopards adino mechira za kiro kiwanja kia Raila Odinga Stadium ari timu ya Police tomborete na point 61 pointi idano mbere ya timu ya Gor Mahia na timu ya Tusker.
Unachanja mpira ndani huko. Kichwa cha kurudisha mpira ndani. Franwe Nyama anaunganisha. Dan Shikanda daktari amenyanyuka
na tukirikiria na nguseno cia Kipkeno Classic ni rakuru iki kinyamudia bare mutengirwa mabenya manini uri unyiterete record ya gitaru kia Africa Ferdinando Manyala arakurwa kirikia wa akathatu thini benya ria mita 100 adini wa nguseno irakuru igikika thini wa kiwanja akia Ulinzi complex ariwo Manyala adite na mbere kurwa akiugeru no gusoka thini wa kambi ya zoezi arekenda kwibariria thini wa nguseno siukite.
Of course you expected faster. But anyway, it's already gone. So now we are going into the next phase. Now we are going to do things that we haven't done.
Na bodi kuturakire mudina mwana sport kwa Mwendani TV ukambita kocha Muri.
Na vaumwiriri wa Mwendani TV niko kaikara tumoka Movoro maratu wa kuvareti madha 10 Movoro mengi no nasie vanda ta moto kwendikeria mavinda maro beta WAWIRA wa NTHIGA na ke motauri tunanjira sipo na Sylvester na ke motarevu wa Movoro Ma Mwendani plain motwiri.
Ino ni Mwendani TV. Kurumirira mitaratara na watho uri uvanditwo wo memerekia kuvitukira ruvuo rwa thirikari rwo